Hello everybody, I'm SaltyVGC and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over what I believe are the best restricted Pokemon for Regulation G. Regulation G is the current format of the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet competitive series, and on these teams you're allowed one restricted Pokemon, which is one of the Pokemon that you can see here. These are all the restricted Pokemon, so I'm going to be going over what I believe are the best and ranking them in order. I'm going to be going in the order that they appear on screen, which I believe is mostly in release order aside for the Scarlet and Violet ones that we have here. So let's go over those first. First of all, I believe Koraidon is A tier. It's a really good Pokemon. Not quite S tier, but definitely does have the potential to win a regional. Miraidon is S tier. It is one of, if not the best restricted legendary at the moment. It's very easy to use. I've been using it myself, and it is one of, if not the best, and also one of my favorites. Terapagos, I'm going to put in A tier. It's very strong, especially with Chi-Yu and Fluttermane on its team as well. It can do a lot of damage with its Terra Starstorm, either single or dual target, before and after it terras. Also, being a Stellar Terra type, it can hit any Terra type for super effective damage with Terra Starstorm, which is very useful. Mewtwo, I think, it's hard to put it in F tier because F tier is actual garbage. But I'm going to have to. It's just outclassed by almost every other, with some exceptions, Pokemon we have here, and it is definitely one of the worst. Lugia, I think, is probably a D tier. It's not very good restricted to choose. It definitely does have its uses, but it's definitely not one of the best. Ho-Oh, again, it's not particularly great. It does get Regenerator, which is a good ability, but I don't think the longevity and the bulky restricted is good for the format we currently have, which is very fast-paced, very hyper-offensive. Kyogre, I think I'm going to put in B tier. It's not quite as good as these A tier Pokemon, but definitely does have a place. With Origin Pulse, Water Spout, it can do a lot of damage. However, with the prevalence of Miraidon and Raging Bolt, two Pokemon that 4 times resist its Water-type attacks, and outspeed it to do way more damage, and have moves that have better accuracy than Origin Pulse, I think Kyogre is definitely a solid B tier. Now, for the same reason, I think Groudon is an A tier because it is ground type, which means it completely counters Miraidon's electric type attacks, meaning it has to go for the dragon type or fairy type moves that Miraidon is running, which is very useful, and especially since Raging Bolt again is also really popular, it's very good. And it's good into fire types. I know it brings the sun, but ground is super effective against fire, so that's another good thing for Groudon, especially since Koraidon does usually terrestrialize to a fire type, which is fun. Rayquaza, I think I'm going to put in B tier. It's actually really good. It's a bit less used. It's a bit underused, but I think it definitely has a good place with Extreme Speed and Dragon Ascent and Swords Dance. It's definitely a very powerful Pokemon. And being able to turn off any weather is very useful against the weather setters that we see here. Dialga, both forms, and Palkia, both forms. I think I'm actually going to put their old forms in F and their new forms in C. I don't think they're very good at all. Their typing isn't bad, but despite the fact that I do really like the original Dialga, the new ones I just don't think are very good. I do believe they're better than their original forms, just based on the fact that they've got a massive stat bump over them. However, I don't think that really justifies their whole item slot, so that's why they are going in C tier. The originals are in D tier because they have Pokemon of the same type that have much better stats, despite the fact that they have to use their held item. I think they're both good, but they're definitely outclassed, especially in the current format of Regulation G. Giratina, I think I'm going to put in a similar place. I think both forms are good, but again, they are definitely outclassed by other Pokemon. Reshiram and Zekrom, I think both deserve to be in D tier. They're not particularly great in the current format. And then Ice Kyurem, I think White Kyurem, I think I'll put in B, and Black Kyurem in C. I believe that White Kyurem is actually a bit better than Black in the current format. Not as good as any of the other Pokemon above it, but I think it definitely could see some usage at a regional. Kyurem is just going in F tier, it's bad. Cosmog and Cosmoem, that they're going in F tier, they're bad. They don't have any good moves. You guys know this, but they're on the list, so they're getting put there. Solgaleo, we could put Solgaleo in C tier, I think. It's good, it has Clear Body. which means that unlike Dawn main, you don't need to run it with Clear Amulet. But I think it's probably it's not good. It's these are the Pokemon that you see. These you're not gonna run into. Lunala, I think it might be a B tier. It's got its uses with Meteor Beam, Moongeist Beam, Trick Room, Tailwind. I swear it gets Moonblast as well. It's a good Pokemon. Dawn main, I keep forgetting its name. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I think it's gonna get more use than Solgaleo, especially with Photon Geyser, but I don't think it's gonna be too popular. And Duskwings, I'm gonna put in D tier as well. It's just not as. I actually think Lunala is much better. I think Lunala is probably only in C, not B. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going for those ones. Necrozma, again, just going in F tier, like most of the other pure psychic types. It's not very good. Solgaleo. This is not Solgaleo. This is Zacian. Zacian Crown form, I think, is probably a B tier, and Zacian regular form, I'm going to say C. Zacian Crown can definitely see some usage, and Zacian regular, it's not as good. It definitely shouldn't be used, but it has seen some use with Clear Amulet, despite the fact that it's not as good or as popular as Zacian Crowned. Zamazenta Crowned is a B tier, A tier, sorry, and same thing for Zamazenta. I think I might actually move Zamazenta down just because its crowned form is significantly better than without, and I think there's not really any reason to run Zamazenta without its crowned form for two reasons. One of which is that it weighs more, so Heavy Slam does more damage, and second of all, Heavy Slam is stab, as it gets the same attack bonus when it is in its crowned form. And also it gets the defense. It gets the defense boost anyway, but yeah, it's just way better in its crowned form. Eternatus, I think I'm going to put in B tier. It is definitely a good Pokemon and is a bit less common than most of the others we have up here. So it will probably catch your opponents off guard quite a bit, and it can definitely be good with Dynamax Cannon and like Venoshock or something. Just give it some good coverage for Dragon and Poison type. Both the Calyrexes I'm going to put in S tier as well. This is the alternate Calyrex forms, the Ice Rider and Shadow Rider. They're both very good, and they are definitely also S tiers alongside Miraidon. And finally, Calyrex's alternate form is going straight in F tier. It's bad. It's a Psychic type. Not all Psychic types are bad, you know, like these two, and I swear there's another Psychic type. Yeah, they're not all bad, but definitely these are the worst ones. In my opinion, this is just basically how I view the format in terms of which are the best and which are the worst Pokemon. If I was going to bring a team to a regional, it'd definitely include one of these three. It's not impossible that I would use any of these four, but it's definitely a lot less likely than the three above it, because these three are just the best in the format. I think the format does rotate a bit between like these three being popular and these four being popular, just based on people trying to make counter teams. But overall, I think these are the best Pokemon in the format, definitely, in my opinion. But as per usual, this is my opinion, so if you disagree, leave a comment down below telling me how I'm wrong, because we all have different opinions. If you like this video, then make sure you leave a like, and if you want to see more of my content when I upload it, then please subscribe. I'm going to try and make weekly content this year, so I hope you stick around. That's going to be it for this video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Goodbye.